today we have a very special artist in studio with us today. She has been on fire with her latest release, Stunna Summer. Today we have the original Stunna, Kato.
Thank you. Hello, hello. How y'all doing today?
So how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing superb. I'm doing superb.
Awesome.
So speaking of your latest EP, Stunna Summer, the cover art was a little revealing. So how do you get comfortable with those type of shoots?
You know something? I actually just recently got into doing photo shoots.
Really?
So when it came down to it, it actually is in connection to my first EP. My first EP was called The Kid. If you see, it's a really big contrast because that's a picture of me as a baby. You know, so it really is more about me stepping more into my womanhood because I'm the last of 5 children, or the last of the Mohicans, as my mom would say. So at the end of the day, it's just me expressing myself more while still being able to control the amount that I talk about. You know, it's not just about, oh, like, yeah, she got a nice body and, you know, she's showing it off, so let's tune in. It's like, okay, I got your eye now, but actually come and listen to what I'm saying.
I was just about to say, like, a lot of female artists use that to their advantage to try to gain, you know, an audience. You know, we see a pretty girl, we're like, okay, let's see what she's talking about.
Right.
Do you feel like that's a necessity in today's world when it comes to the art of female rap?
Never. I never feel like it's a, you know, necessity to show off what you have. Of course, you know, you use what your mama gave you, but to a certain extent, because it's more about the music than the performance. It's more about what you're saying and what you're talking about than how people view you. So, you know, if you're putting out an image where it's just like, okay, it's ass, it's titties, and that's what people are expecting you to talk about. You know, that's what people are expecting to see when they come out to see you. That's the only thing that's in their mind.
Right.
So, you know, people paint out a picture of you, but you don't have to make that your image. I feel like being able to, you know, express that and actually engage in it as a Black woman, it's, you know, it's natural, it's easy. We are the blueprint, so it's easy to just come out and just be sexy. But are you talking about sex, or are you just sexy and you can rap good?
Yeah.
Like I said.
I say that because in today's world of hip hop, it seems like we are starting to gravitate towards the real, raw, unfiltered rappers like the Sexy Reds, the Glorrillas, and even to some point somebody like Krishan Rock. So, what are the boundaries that you set for yourself as an artist? Like, a lot, that's the trend that's happening now. That's what's blowing up. Are you following that, or are you setting your own? Like, because I see some similarities as far as your delivery. You're real raw, you're lyrical, you're gritty, you get right to it.
Thank you. I don't ever put myself in the same category as anybody ever. I do appreciate, you know, the comparisons that I get at times, but when it comes to the, you know, like to the Sexy Reds, and even though they beefing at the moment, and like the Kias and stuff like that, like, you know, my neck, my back, like my, you know, I can't do that. I'm more of a girl who, like I said, is stepping into her stepping into her feminism. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
Because growing up as the youngest, me having 3 older brothers, I was more of a tomboy. Either way it goes. So I'm not going to sit here and write something that I know I'm not going to feel. If I write something that I know I'm not going to be able to perform comfortably, then I'm not going to say it. You know, I'm going to talk about shit that I've experienced, like, but never am I going to give you an idea that this is something that's, you know, easy to get.
So now that you are a public figure, and you mentioned that you have 3 older brothers, how do they feel about your rap career?
Well, at the moment, I only have 2. Unfortunately, I lost my brother last year.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. Last year was like a really hard year for me. So I went through the process of losing my sister, losing my grandfather, and losing my brother, all within the span of like May down to November. So it's just like, okay, my family was the number one, you know, support system, regardless. I don't ever think like, oh shit, like my brother's gonna hear this and you know, they gonna want to kill me. They know that no matter what, I'm going to be myself, regardless of if they agree with it or if they don't. But there have been times that I have said things in the studio and I'm in the booth and I'm like, I tell the engineer, I'm like, nah, take that out. Nah, take that out. Because if Isaac or Isaiah hear that shit, they not gonna feel that. But then it was a point where I dropped the remix, and I was really talking my shit on that one. So with that, my brother they're funny, they're hilarious. But my brother Isaac, he had just like called me on FaceTime, and he had literally just started rapping my song, like just rapping the
Oh no.
remix. And I'm like, boy, you are like you're different. Like you don't need to be rapping that shit. Please, like please don't, because you're making it awkward. But I never think twice. I feel like at this point, because I'm getting older and they have made me more comfortable with it. But there are definitely times where I actually sit back and I'm like, okay, I still have people looking up to me, so I'm gonna switch that up like a little bit.
It takes some time. You gotta like push that boundary in
Yeah,
order to get comfortable with, doing things like that. I understand
exactly.
it. So you have been releasing projects since 2021, but
Hmm.
you have been making insane like strides within these past 2 years.
Thank
Like
you.
when I listen to your music and I see the visuals, like you wouldn't think you were such a young artist. So what sets you apart as an artist today, and why do you think people gravitate towards you as they have been doing?
Honestly, I feel like it's the comfort. I make people. I just you people will hear my music and then they'll just be like, wait, this you? Like,
Right.
like if you put on a song of mine, like on a major radio station, like at this point, which is, a goal that I have, nobody's gonna think twice and be like, who who is this? So having people around me, they're like, pushing me to go harder. I feel like that's really what is setting me apart. Like I have the people backing me, but I also have the mindset of you know competition. Like I'm really competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, if I do anything, doesn't matter if it's sports, fashion, music, then it's always going to be a goal of mine to be number one. So
Cause
I
I'm not
always
gonna
want to do
lie.
something that is going to set me apart.
I'm not gonna lie, Kato, because I was scrolling through your Instagram, right? And then I clicked the link in your bio and I went to the Spotify. I listened to this and I was like, wait a minute, is this the same person? Like I was listening, I was like, this can't be the same person. But it was really good. Like it was
Thank you.
really good. I just wasn't expecting that type of music to come
Thank
from
you.
you. You know?
It's changed a lot. I definitely have grown since like I first started, and like into now. And I feel like that is because I take a lot of time. Like you said, like I've been dropping projects since 2021, but that was when I like first got into the studio. My first studio session was June of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, it's like, okay, you go in, the song you did, it's good. Like, I liked it. I like the outcome of it, but I also know it can be better. Being a perfectionist is hard to hear something and just be like, okay, like that's good enough. Like, no,
Right.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna perfect it, and I'm going to give you 2 songs at once. I'm gonna give you 5 songs at once. I'm not going to give you, I'm going to give you quality at a small amount rather than a large quantity, and it's garbage.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Have you released an album before?
No, and then I will not be releasing the album anytime soon. Like
And
within the next year or two, I don't plan on releasing the album. But it's just the way, it's just my process. I like having more intimate sessions. And sometimes those don't come as often as somebody hit me up and saying, hey, like let's go to the studio and we go and record something, and it's cool.
mhm.
But I'm not putting this on my album. It's cool, but I'm not cranking this in the car to show somebody I've been working on something new. So if it doesn't meet that, and I do sound like I have high standards, and I'm picky. I might be a little bougie when it comes to the music
But
that I
that's
make, but
okay.
that's okay. Like that's the type of music that I want to make. This is the sound that I want to have. I don't want to put out anything just because it's what people are expecting. I'm putting out something that's gonna have them actually like turn their neck and raise their eyebrows.
Right. So how long does it take for you to get like a song? Usually, does it go through plenty of revisions before you actually get
Mm,
to that final product, or
there is no set process of me making a song yet. There won't be a set process of me making a song. Sometimes I'm sitting and an idea comes to me, a bar comes to me, and then I'll start writing, and then I'll have to go back to it because it's like, okay, I got the first verse down. Maybe I want to throw a hook on there, so
Mhm.
I'll come back and throw a hook on there, or I'll go back and do another verse on it. But for the most part, I will be sitting there and I'll write my music, and that will take, a course of different sessions. But if I'm in a music session and the producer is making a beat or plays a beat, then it's just like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like, oh, I'm going to get that song out in the one session. And there's been songs like that, like Ballin'. Ballin' was the song from Stunna Summa that I heard the beat and I was like, ooh. I was like, yeah, this
I
the one.
needs
Like
that.
I need this. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like I'm ready for this one. So I just went in and I just said first thing that came off my head and I was like, y'all better stay out your motherfucking seats for this one. I'm not playing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Not
that's
at
just
all.
how I went in. I just had to keep that same energy.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
Okay.
I'm about to get deep with you. So I was listening to your song "Do the Most," and you said, "I like bad bitches, not good girls. I ain't fucking with no saint."
Nope, never.
So how do you go about getting a girl if that's your preference?
Okay, I don't have a preference. Let's start there.
Okay.
I'm open minded when it comes to the people who I'm attracted to, but for the most part, I'm attracted to bad bitches. So, I actually had bagged one of my last girls from a show that I did.
You see how easy she said, "I just bagged one of my last."
Chill, chill. Cause she gonna see the shit later and be like, "Oh, okay, really?" But nah, but she's cool though. But we actually wasn't we. I went to a show with a couple of friends, and it was actually my first show in a while because after everything that had happened last year, I took sort of a hiatus and like just a break from doing all things creative and focusing on getting my life just to the point that I needed to be at in order to focus on things that were extracurricular. Like it's a passion, but there are people who are dependent on me. So, sorry, what was the question again? I just got
I
into a
just thought
whole
of
spiel.
another question.
I just
Who
got
is
into a whole
depending on you?
spiel.
Like, what weight is on
Yeah,
your
I'm
shoulder as an
sorry.
artist?
I have a lot of people who look up to me. When I dropped my first song, the number one person who was listening to it was my niece Bella, and like she's probably like 7 now, but at the time she was like 6, 5 or 6, like,
Mhm.
and she rapping "Keep Up," and I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on, all right, like you can't be saying all my lyrics and shit like that, you
Right.
know, but I have 9 nieces and nephews and counting because they ain't stopping no time soon. So they look up to me. And then I also have like my mother. She's just an inspiration. Period. She's like the go getter of the family. She had, like I said, 5 kids. And then raising all of us like on her own. And then, um, she had suffered from a stroke a couple years ago and has been, like wheelchair bound since then, like living in a nursing home. So that's like my main that's just my motivation. Period, is looking to them and being like, okay, like, they look into my music, but they also look into who I am like as a
Right.
person and who I am as a figure and like what it is that I do. Like I'm doing something that has purpose and that, is something I actually keep driving towards. So they're my number one influence, but making sure that my mom's straight, that's the thing that wakes me. Like when I wake up, that's the number one thing that I think about, and I'm like, okay, like we're gonna live today based off of the next step that it's gonna take in order to get her where she needs to be.
It seems like you had that 50 Cent mindset, that get rich or die trying type attitude.
I hope not.
And that
I don't got
respect,
no ops like that.
I
So
mean,
you know
I
what
mean
I'm
it like
saying?
that.
Like,
I mean, like, this is what I'm gonna do. There is
yeah,
no plan B. This is what
yeah.
I'm setting out to do. So that brings me to my next question. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 years with your music career? Is just like the end all be all, you're going to be a
Mm.
musician if nothing else? Or do you have a backup
Uh,
plan?
Next 3 years, if I was, it's about 6:39, 6:40 right now. I will be in the studio with one of my favorite artists. I'm gonna just say I'm gonna be in the studio with Dirk in about 3 years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But no, seriously, when it comes down to it, this is the end all be all. Like there's no plan B. There was a plan B before, and then anything else that came before this, it was just like, okay, like it's here and there. Like maybe I want to do it, maybe I don't. But this is the only thing that I've actually gotten into and kept going back to and has that it's coming out like naturally. Like I used to run track. I used to like play basketball, do soccer. Um, but the only thing that I continuously was doing was music. Like that's the only thing.
So you were an athlete before. Was there something before that? Like, I know oftentimes in our communities, like, you need to get a job, you need to go to
Yeah,
college, and you're
right.
gonna die alone and whatever and be broke. But what was that for you? Like, what were you hearing? Because was there anybody telling you to not chase your music dreams?
Yeah, they still are. Like, it's people telling me, like it's people who are close to me, and it does hurt. Like, but they won't even mention it. You know, they'll say, how, oh yeah, like, like it's good to start applying for those internships now. Like, you get into your, if you go back to school, you're gonna be into your third year of college. Da, da, da. I'm like, I'm not planning on going back to school
Mm-hmm.
right now. Like, so of course it was, oh, like, you need to make sure you're saving your money, make sure you're in your, you have a major, you have a plan B. And growing up, my mom always said not to put, all your eggs into one basket.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, it's more than just music. It's being in a creative space and making opportunities for yourself. Nothing else has done that for me. There's nothing that was going to put me in this position that I'm in right now other than music. Like, so that's what's going to take me farther. That's what's going to take me farther. It brought me here, so it definitely is going to take me where I want to be.
So, what is music for you? What does it do for you?
It
What
does a lot
drives
for
you
me.
to create songs and go to the studio and write and do music videos?
Like I said, competition. But I really am at competition with myself. Um, Being able to actually do something and be like, okay, like, you've been doing this for some time now. And like I said, I always go back and forth from doing a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So actually having something where it's like, all right, like, stop bullshitting, like, get in the studio. It's just me telling myself that. Like, I really look in the mirror and tell myself that, like, on days that I'm just feeling low, because it's like, you just gonna sit here and feel sorry for yourself. You ain't gonna do shit. Like, are you going to be in this position next week? Are you going to be sitting on the couch next week? Are you gonna go? Are you gonna write some music? Are you going to prepare for the next studio session? Like, even if I don't have the time, the energy, or the effort in order to go book a studio session or go set up my laptop in order to record something, I still have the drive to write, because I know I don't want to stop. Because if I do stop, then it's yet another thing that I'm just giving up on. And
Another thing,
yeah,
like talking about the basketball we talked about before. What have you
it
given up?
wasn't even basketball really. I played basketball a little bit, but I was the only black girl on the team, so they just played me a lot. That was
Okay.
it. Like, they just played me a lot. Um, but that was back when I lived in Cincinnati. Like, when I was there, then I was doing like basketball, I was doing soccer, etc. But my mom was a travel nurse, so a lot of people say, "Oh, like, I'm a military kid." Well, I'm a travel nurse kid. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I lived in Cincinnati. I was born in Cincinnati, and I moved to the DMV. First, I was in Virginia for about 2 years, and I did track at Drew Middle School, but they had me doing the fucking 800, and I was like, do I look like the type of person to be running 2 laps?
They like, yeah, we gonna
Like,
put her on the
like
track. I
you
know
really
she
about to,
can.
you gonna make me run 2 laps right now? So, like, that had made me quit track the first time, and I was like, yeah, fuck that shit. I'm not doing it. Plain and simple. Like, I tried out the high jump, and then, like, my coach was like, nah, you're going back to the 800s. And I was like, how about fuck it? And I don't go back to shit. And I leave. Like, and that's just how it was. Like, so after that, then I moved to Maryland, and there weren't any middle school sports in Maryland. So then once high school hit, I was on the step team. I was doing a couple of things outside of school, and like dance and things like that. But then my friend was like, yeah, bro, like, I'm about to go run track. And I'm like, you're tripping. Like, you're about to run indoor track. Like, it's, first of all, it's like 30 degrees outside. Second of all, you're not that fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not fun. Like, I'm gonna just go to basketball tryouts. But then I saw how many people was at the basketball tryouts, and I said, I don't want to do that. Like, I
Have you
think
played basketball before?
lines, yeah, of course. But like I said, I was the only black kid, so I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I'm really like, if like, if I'm Sky, or if I'm just, like, if I just got hoop dreams in the back of my head. But no, it was just track had just attracted me a little bit more at that moment, because like I said, I saw a line at the basketball tryouts, and I don't do lines. Like, lines are like, I can't do it. Like, my ADD is not going to let me do that shit. So
Okay.
I ended up going to run track, and I was a dog. Like, I had did the hurdles, went to regionals, states, and nationals for the hurdles, And then also I have the record like from my high school for the triple jump.
Can we get a round of applause for
So
that, please?
thank you. So like I
Major.
said, it's just competition. It's a lot of competition that drives me. But when it gets down to it, like I graduated during quarantine, so
Okay.
it wasn't no college scholarships, and that was the only route that my parents were like telling me that I had. Really, they were like, "You go to college, like you going to college, you're going to college." So
Right.
I'm just like, okay, like all right, I'm going to college then. So I ended up going to Morgan for a couple of years. Was in contact with the coach for track, but that didn't end up falling through, and I just lost my motivation for it. I was sitting there during quarantine, and I was like, it's something else. Like something is standing in the way. So I would just sit there. Like it was a bad time like for me. During the time like was just getting into it like with the person who I was dealing with. So the only thing that I would be able to do is just go listen to music, like just sit there and think about everything that's going on and trying to figure out the why. But then I was just like, you know what, like let me start getting my thoughts out of my head and actually like start to put this into words so I can know what is it that I'm trying to process right now, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got
Wow.
2 more questions for you, and I wanted to touch on you being competitive,
Okay.
because I'm kind of the same way. So oftentimes when you are a competitive person like that, there has to be a meter or something that you compare yourself to. We all like to say, "Yeah, I'm just against myself," but no, you know that you're making progress because you have overlapped people around you.
Hmm.
Correct. So who is that person? Who is that measuring stick for you?
The measuring stick for me, I hate to sound cliche, but it's going to be Nikki. It
But
really
right
is going to
now,
be
you go.
Nikki.
You're comparing yourself to Nikki at like right now.
Like with like the buzz that she's getting, like even with the bad like representation that she's putting on for herself.
Who is
No,
somebody that you look at right now and say they drop a song and you're like, I gotta get in the studio. I gotta do just good enough. I gotta level up them. I gotta
it's
elevate.
it's not a set person. It's just if you think of female rap right now, whatever face you just put in your head, that's who I'm at competition with. That's who I'm trying to be better than. I'm trying to be better than everybody. There's not a soul that I'm going to be like, oh my God, like I pray I'm good enough to get a feature from her. No, once I get there and once I get that buzz, oh
She
yeah,
gonna want a feature from you.
you gonna want a feature from me,
Yeah.
baby. I'm telling you, yeah, that's what it is. But all in all, like my like the trajectory that I want to take off on, like Young Money, Cash Money, they did the damn thing when I was growing up. So like I said, Nikki, she was just shoved down everybody's throat. There's no other female artists other than like like the Lauren Hills, the Missy Elliott's, who like, they still around, but they're household names, like, so Nikki is like the one that's like of my generation. That's the number one person who I'm like, if, all right, like, get my team to get a feature from her, like, and I'm taking it regardless. Like, she was number one always.
All right. So this last question, what's one thing we should know about you before getting into your song "Cut Your Losses"?
One thing y'all should know about me is that sometimes I seem as if I'm closed off, but if I'm in that mode, then I'm just working. Um, I've been in and out of that because of like the transition that I've been having with dealing with family losses and just dealing with my own BS. Like I like to take time in order to process, So a lot of people they come at me and they're like, "When are you dropping? Oh, we need this. We need this. We need this." Okay, let me get your time, energy, effort, and your mindset so I can put myself in your shoes and do it. Like it's not gonna be as good because you're not me. You also don't know how I'm feeling right now. So I feel like they expect a lot of rappers to be fast paced. I'm not a lot of rappers. Like you can put me in the studio, put me in the booth, give me a beat, and I'm going to give you something that you gonna listen to a couple times, but I'm going to let you have that song, and I'm going to feel like it was a waste of my time. So I
Okay.
just had to say, just be patient with the kid. That's it. All right. What's up, y'all? This is Kato. We about to dive into the lyrics of my song, Cut Your Losses. They try to bite on my shit and not aim for their head. This shit like The Walking Dead. You better use all those takes.
We're gonna use all of them. We're gonna use all of them.
But
So, okay, go ahead. You said you have an explanation for us.
were you about to ask a question about it?
Oh, go ahead. Say what you say.
I was going to say I set a lot of trends around my way. I don't like to say like, oh, I'm a trendsetter, da 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 da. But when it comes to like the people who I surround myself by, I honestly think that we do influence each other. Like I surround myself around a set of people who are making the way for themselves. Like they don't look at others and be like, oh shit, like damn, I got to get what they on. Nah, it's people who are looking up to us and people who I surround myself around. And they're trying to get to where we at. So it's some who are literally biting on my shit. I'm not gonna drop no names, but it's some people who I've been in contact with who have literally like been biting on my shit. Will say something that I said like in a session that we were together with, and I'm just like, nigga, I was there like when I said it, so I'm gonna remember. What, okay, but yeah. So I just said that, and then I just used the reference like, so I aim for the head. Like I'm coming at your head. And this shit like The Walking Dead, headshots on. Damn, I said, I'm running this shit and it still ain't the best of me. Bitches ain't got the ingredients, half of the shit that it take for the recipe. I'm getting selfish and gritty, and nigga, I'm feeling like, you better feed me. They want to know the direction to get to the dough, but I say ain't no rest in me. So with my name, it's Kato, right? So that was yet another spin off of me, just doing a little, wordplay. And it literally started with that last line. You know what I'm saying? Like it started with, they trying to get to the dough, but I say ain't no rest in me. So they trying to get to what Kato is doing. They trying to get to the point that I'm at, or do the shit that I'm doing, rap the way that I'm rapping, talk about the shit that I'm talking about. But it's like it's no rest. Like it's no time that I'm actually just sitting and just sitting on my ass doing nothing, like not planning or anything like that. So when it comes down to it, they just trying to follow the blueprint, but they don't even know where to start. They ain't even got the pen and the paper. Like, if you're going to do it, then take the damn notes. But don't try to come out and quote my shit or try to do what I'm doing and then do it a quarter of the way as well.
So this last one, I need a deposit. I need a deposit. I ain't doing no free song.
Oh, yeah, hell no.
That's all it is.
Period. Period. Point blank, period. You can go through all the songs I got. Tell me how many features I got. Like, I got 2. I don't I don't condone and people playing with my time, and there are a lot of times that I will go and give somebody the time of day, give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And like I said, I'm bougie, I'm picky, and I'm a perfectionist. So if I put something down and you don't feed off my energy and give me exactly what it is that I need on my song, we're not doing a feature, and if you're asking me to do a feature, yeah, we can do it. And yes, I'm a new artist. Yes, I'm getting into it. And, like, yes, I might need a couple names, attached to me in order for more people to hear me, to get my name out there a little bit more. But if it's anything outside of you coming over to my crib, oh, that you're going to have to pay me for something. You won't either have to pay for that session. You're going to have to throw me something in order to lay something, because it's like, do you not realize that as an artist,
it takes work?
And there have been people who is like, oh, like, like we live in the same area, da 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 da. Like, I feel like you shouldn't be charging that much for your features. And I'm like, well, your features are free. What did you gain from it? Like, and if I don't do features, I'm still going to put out the quality work. So people who do want to work with me and get the chance to work with me, then like I said, they pay a price of something. Like it's never free. So, I'm giving you something that's going to cost me something. You have to give me something. It's going to cost you something. So,
facts.
And that's just the way it is. I'm about my money. It's Kato. It's in the name. Getting straight to it.
Getting straight to it. All right. So, where can we find Kato on social media?
Kato is on Instagram, Twitter, the TikTok, it's a little bit. And that is at officially KADOE. And the link in my bio is going to connect you to my Spotify, Apple Music, etc. If you got an Android and you don't got no money to have no subscription, then you can get that shit on YouTube. It's everywhere. And I also just recently dropped the video to Cut My Losses, the live performance, and Ballin', that is from STUNNA SUMMA. So definitely tap into those for sure.
All right. That's a wrap for this episode of Behind the Buzz at the Be More Pod. Please be sure to follow Kato and Behind the Buzz on Instagram. And thank you, Kato, for visiting us in studio in Baltimore.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
And that's